Welcome to the Caribbean Property Investing Podcast, where we share real-life experiences for successful Caribbean property entrepreneurs. Learn about their successes, challenges, and strategies to help you create your plan for financial freedom. Now let's get started.
Bank of St. Lucia Visa credit card for everyday people, everyday moments.
To ruminate, to create your ultimate living space. And at Courts, you'll find what you need. Choose from our wide range of furniture, electronics, and accessories to complete your space. We're here and ready to assist. Give us a call to place your order. Shop online at shopcourts.com or visit us in store. So ruminate at Courts, bringing value home.
Welcome to episode 27 of the Caribbean Property Investing Podcast. Unlike other shows, we will typically just introduce our guests, but we want to take a special time out to thank our partners, Bank of St. Lucia and Courts. Without these partners, this show would not have been possible. Also like to thank our production company, All Bees Productions, who continue to do an amazing job. So, as I always say, every show, we have a very, very exciting and interesting guest. Our guest today is someone who performs a job that is not as popular as it used to be, but I've found it very, very useful. And we're talking about the area of architectural model design. And that is those replicas of buildings that you see maybe in lobbies or at home shows or other exhibition type of events. We have someone here who's done it for a number of years. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Roger Skeete. Welcome to the show, Roger.
Hey, thank you, Anselm. Thank you for having me on today.
I hope I didn't say too much. Why don't you tell the audience and our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, St. Lucia. Good afternoon, the wide Caribbean. My name is Roger Skeete. I grew up in the CDC. For those who know St. Lucia would know the CDC very well. I attended the RC Boys School. From the RC Boys, I went to the Seventh-day Adventist School, which is the SDA school. From there, I went to the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, where I studied the building technician course. And from Sir Arthur, I went to Jamaica, where I did the architectural course. And from Jamaica, I went to London, where I studied industrial model making. And industrial model making deals with all facets and aspects of model making. But my main interest was in architectural model making. I just love building architectural models. I could stay days building architectural models. When I'm building a model, I don't go to sleep. So yeah, this is me in a nutshell.
All right, Roger. And why I thought this subject was particularly important at this time is because we don't see a lot of it. In fact, most architects now give you a 3D render and even a 3D walkthrough. But I found that actually seeing the model, and it might be personal preference, but I found that seeing the actual model, being able to see, touch it, gives me a better appreciation for it. So you said that you felt drawn. Why do you think you got interested in that area?
Um, well, my family is inclined that way. Um we're creative in that way. My brother, who's a chef, Chef Robbie, he's creative. He always does creative things with his food. My mom designed as well. My uncle designed as well. I have an aunt who is in landscaping. So I think the creativity came to us, I guess, naturally or by birth or whatever, passed on from relatives. But saying that, I just love building. I just love building things. I love using my hands. I seem to be much better with my hands than probably my head. You know? So um, I love building things. So when I'm building models, it's like beyond this world. Like I could stay for hours, for days on end building, and then you start something from nothing. You cut couple pieces, and then you see that finished product, and you see if it's a building, let's say, you see that building materializing, and then you see it forming till you finally actually get the building, and then exterior works to it, the flowers and the vehicles and the people, and you just see that finished product and like, wow, mind blowing, you know.
Tell us
So
about
this is what it
your
is.
first job. Tell us about your first job. You remember your first job?
My first job was the Grosley Fire Station and the Viewfort Police Station. I was commissioned to do these two models by Honorable Emma Hippolyte. When she wasn't honorable yet, she was still at the NIC when she commissioned me to do that. It was a independence celebrations actually, and I actually did those two models simultaneously and finished them in 1 month from scratch. That's having nothing to a complete two models on your desk. There you go for viewing. Cutting all the little pieces, sticking them together, and everything.
So give us an appreciation of how you approach it. So you have architectural drawings, you have the plans, you have the elevations. Tell us how you go about preparing for it and actually starting and constructing those models.
Okay, so yeah, like you say, I would have to acquire all the drawings of the project, from site plan go up to roof. And from there I would have a look at the drawings, and then I would figure out what's a good scale first of all to do the drawing at. That's very important. What scale I would do the drawing, because you don't depend on the size of the project. You don't want the model to be big or too small. So you want to get that appropriate scale. So after figuring that out, I would then go about actually building now. Well, I would actually also, well, the next step, which I forgot, would be if it's an actual building that exists, I would I would go take photos of that building and have all the photos stuck up in front of me on a wall. And I would be looking at these photos back and forth along with the drawings. So I would actually do the finished thing. The exterior would actually be the exact colors of the existing building. So the exact roof color, exact wall colors, The landscaping, I try to make it as the existing. So that's what I would do, and then I would go about acquiring the materials to suit that, and then start working.
Now, how often on out of 10 jobs, how often would you say you get a job for existing buildings? I always thought that primarily the architectural model commissioning was for buildings that were not yet created.
Right. Uh, in St. Lucia, we haven't. I don't know about the wider Caribbean at large, but I know for St. Lucia, we haven't really gotten to appreciate models, the 3D models, the actual 3D models. Like you said in your preamble, we're now more into the virtual models now. But the 3D models, I still think there is a place and time for them in our society still and in our industry, seeing that young men like you and young ladies that I've seen on your interviews are getting into property development. I think there's a major need for it. But like you say, the existing buildings compared to buildings that were starting from fresh, that's still in the design stages and stuff. Um, yes, you would get more, but what I've noticed in St. Lucia, because there isn't such a need and people, the developers, I guess it has, I think it's more of a cost constraint more than anything else. I don't think they don't want it, but I think they figure they can do without it because maybe that's an extra 20, $30,000, whatever it maybe depends on the size of the project. So I think this is why I had to shift and rethink how I go about selling myself and getting work. So I would approach people that buildings are already existing and tell them, I would love to do a model of your existing building and we could put it in your lobby area when people come by so they see your building. So I've more been tackling it that way um, instead of from design stages where clients and potential buyers of your property, your villa, whatever it may be, your unit, could come in and actually view and see, oh, this is what that shop is going to look like, or this is what my villa is going to look like. Wow, that looks nice. And take it from there, you know. But like I said, I think it's more of a cost constraint more than anything else.
So I can tell you from the development perspective, the cost of architectural models, from my limited knowledge, is in excess of 30,000, like 12, 13,000, 30,000 EC or 12, 13, 14,000 US dollars minimum. And in my mind, if as a developer you don't have multiple units for sale, it might not be cost effective because one of the
Right,
drawbacks or the key drawback of creating that model is that it is stationary. On one hand, it is the benefits that is tactile. You can see it, you can feel it, you can appreciate it. But at the same time, the drawback is that I cannot share it, with more people other than persons who are actually there to really appreciate it. So whereas you can send a file for 3D video, you can send anywhere in the world and people can appreciate it. The real beauty of the model is standing right next to it. And that brings me to my next question. I've mainly seen those models in lobbies for large developments. Um, do you think that somewhere like, and we can mention names, somewhere like a Carbot development, outside of these large developments, what benefit do you think a developer can gain for investing in the architecture models as is as a sales tool? What benefit do you think they have in doing that as opposed to doing the 3D virtual? Or is it an and as opposed to an or? Is it an and? They do both.
Yeah, I would say it's an and, more than an or. I mean, there are lots of benefits, like we say, when you finish, then you then have that 3D model to to place in your building. Yeah, in the reception area or the lobby area, as we say. For instance, I did a model for Cap Maison, and right now it's used in the lobby area, and when the guests come, we're around and do the tours with them, and that was time consuming and everything. Everyone stands around the model in the lobby area now, and they do the tour right there and show them where their room is, where the restaurant is, where everything is right now. So yeah, so the model at the end of it all, it benefits you still in that way. Um, Comparing the two, like you said, the virtual models compared to the solid built model. Um, yes, it's cheaper. Well, I don't know if it's actually cheaper to do the virtual 3D models. The guys who do it still charge a hefty sum. You know. So in terms of cost, I don't know if it's really that cheaper. But what I can say for the actual built model, the benefits that are there, because yeah, with the virtual model, it's true they do all the elevations and you get the roof and everything, and you can spin it around 360. But with the physical one, there is an added something to it, that it's during design stages, during building stages, that you use it in the meetings. They're right there on the table at the board meetings. The entire building team is there, from client down to
Worker,
surveyors and
nice
all
one.
the different engineers and everything, and changes are to be made. We actually go and we point on the physical model itself, and we make those changes, whether it's something that we need to bring from an existing building, or something maybe we need to add to that building. And we can flip and flop and use different colors. So from there we could choose our exterior colors, our cladding already, or we could say, boy, the design of that roof. If these two roofs come together, it may look much better than how it's designed now. So yeah, so I see the benefits that way. A lot in building, in maintenance after it's built and model. You go back to the model to show exactly where we're having a problem and where we can fix this problem, and even for later extensions, for future extensions to that building, we could see, we could have the model maker add that extension to the existing model and see how it actually looks before we actually spend all our money and do it, and then we say, wow, but that extension to that building was not what I really expected. you know so I see a lot of benefits in it, but like I tell you, Ansem, I strongly believe, and it has something to do with our culture as well. It was never something that was in our culture in terms of our construction culture. you know, Models was never a part. Went to an architect and he designed for you. That was just it. The architect designed, and he built, and the contractor built after that. There was never that involvement with the models. I guess because of 3D and the computers now and the virtual aspect of it, I think it has now brought that into our industry. But that was never compared to the big countries, and when you go to the big countries, everywhere you go, you see a model. They can't have a project without a model. Still, up to today, as much as the computers and the virtual 3D models have taken over, on the big major projects, there's still the physical models. So I think we
I
just
agree
need
with that.
to get into it, and it would take gentlemen like you, Anselm, to push it.
And that's what we're doing. In our previous discussions, we looked at 6 different types of architectural models, and they are the massing and a small scale model to look at the
Yeah,
form of the building, the study models to quickly study the concepts and ideas and how they would work, the
right.
presentation model, which I think is what we most of us are used to,
All.
and the
Yes.
presentation models are the ones that you do for as a sales tool, fundraising for corporate clients. There's
Yeah.
the very important type, which is the daylighting model, which studies the effects of the exterior openings, on the
In.
interior spacing and daylighting. That to me
Yep.
sounds very useful. We have 2 more. The detail model. That one, Roger, I think
Oh.
we can probably spend a little time on. And that one shows the complex connections and the
Hmm.
spatial relationships with the structural details of having something on paper and actually seeing how it works in real life is totally different. And finally,
Materialize.
the material model, which you just spoke to a while ago, and that is how the different types of material look next to each other. And seeing it even on a high resolution
No.
monitor will not tell you or give you a full appreciation of what it is in real life. So these 6 different types of models focus on 6 different, I guess, priorities and objectives. And so I mean, which one of those models? So we know we established that probably the presentation models is probably most of what you've done, but you've also mentioned the other types. Which one of those models you think probably would be the most useful, even with the broad objectives that each developer or project might have?
Like we say in St. Lucia, we tend to go more for the presentation models. They're nicer and everything, and they have the landscape, graphics, the cars, the people, and you just see that finished product. And you're like, wow, yeah, that's what we want. But like you say, all the other models, the detail, the schematic models, the study models, when you have major projects, big projects going on, models are done from inception and sound. They're done from conceptualizing your project.
Yeah.
You already start building models from there. So when I sit down and I'm designing a house for somebody, and I'm coming up with the concept. So I'm sitting down there, I'm by the river, and a concept came to me, and I see something, and then I'm like, whoa, I can draw from there, or the information you gave me as to what you want. I come up with something. From there, we're already doing concepts models, and from that, I could bring that to you already and show you, and then you can say, nah, I don't like the round building. I would definitely go maybe with 2 rectangular spaces instead. So from there already, so before we even waste time in the architectural firm, and you've spent thousands of dollars already, we could cut that by doing the conceptualized models, and like you say, the study models and the schematic models, which are just all white with no color, no detail or anything. These are mainly just geometrical shapes that we put together just to show the broad concept of it with no detail yet. And from there already, you'll be surprised to see how useful these are, you know. And from there we'll say, oh yeah, boy, you see, we don't even need to go further. I don't like that concept. I don't like how that look. I don't like how it sight with the surroundings. So from there we change and we conceptualize another design already, and we're saving cost already.
Roger, the plain schematic one color form concept model, I suspect, is all that we can afford for a residential project. I think anything more would be for commercial. But I can certainly see the value of it. And as I said, maybe more education and more displays are required. But tell us, what are some of the key challenges you actually have when building those models? What are the key issues you come up with, or you have to
Mm,
face or overcome?
well, for one, our main challenge in St. Lucia would be the materials. Getting the materials would be my main challenge. All my materials I order from model making companies. Um, I think this is really my main challenge because everything else, I'm so passionate about models. I overcome it, you know. So really and truly is getting the materials as you it. So you find sometimes I may have to wait a while because I order. Well, I would tend to order express so that it reaches within a few days. But that's mainly, I would say, the biggest challenge, not having the materials on hand and having to order.
And you spoke about timeliness of, I guess, delivery of materials. I was thinking more of timeliness of completion and the demands of the clients as to, Roger, I want this in 4 weeks.
Well,
I want this in 6 weeks.
yes, that too. Now, well, the timeliness of the materials would set me back in handing you your project at the time stipulated. But like I said, with me, I'm so passionate, Ron, about models that, boy, I don't go to bed.
Well,
So I'm up, I'm up all night building models. Well, you've seen me already, Anselm, when I'm building models, and you see I'm there from morning to night, and I don't stop.
so, Roger, typically, how long does it take you to complete a model on average?
Huh, on average. Okay, so let's say, for instance, the fire station, the Viewfort police station. I actually did this. I actually completed these two models in 1 month. Anselm. That's from start to finish, to bringing it to the client and saying, there you go, sir, this is your finished product. I did that, these two models in 1 month. That's from scratch, building everything, cutting every piece. The cap maison model I did, I would say, in about the same amount of time, a month and a half for the most. Yeah. But so I guess it all depends on the size of the project and the size of the model. But yeah, but I tend to take about a month, thereabout.
And do you normally have help? Do you have like a little elf or a little assistant, a free child labor or something?
Yes, I have help in that. Yeah, my daughter, who is uh who is turning out to be she'll probably be the next model maker on island. Um, who is very skilled in the art form, in all forms of the art, from drawing to building models to fashion design, just name it.
How old is she, Roger, right now?
She is 10, she'll be 11 in December, but she's great, handsome. We'll be hearing about her soon. I visioned that already.
Oh,
Yeah.
say her name now so people know the name. What's her name?
Jolie Seju.
Okay, Jolie says you. All right.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be hearing about her soon. So yeah, if I'm doing anything, she'll be there. She'll help. My sister. Yeah, but I also get artists to help me as well. With like the with if I have to do any painting or anything on the model, I would usually get an artist to do that part of it for me. Yeah, so I do get help where needed.
What's the biggest or most sophisticated model you've done? Tell us about that project.
Well, that would have to be a model we did at school, but a group. That was a group model at the time. That was a major complex building. We're talking 50 something story building.
In
Yeah,
London,
about
that was London.
yes, yeah, that was in London. But on my own, I would have to say the Cap Maison project here in St. Lucia on my own would probably be the most challenging one that I have done, because I actually did that model for Cap Maison before the the um the hotel was actually built. I used the
Right.
drawings, and they were going through changes at the time. The owners would be calling me, telling me, Roger, oh, we changed this, the restaurant is not there anymore. So when I did it already, I have to change it. The roof is not like that anymore. We're putting a deck down on Rock Maison, on the rock in the sea. So I had done it already. I then had to come and do a deck for it. So yeah, that was a bit challenging, because like I said, it was in design stages when I actually did it. And fascinating enough, when I delivered that model, the morning I delivered to the client, he called me an hour later and said, Roger, you sold me my most expensive villa.
Oh my goodness.
Because when I came in, there was there was a couple sitting in the balcony, and I passed them with the model, not realizing that they were there. He was just going to do a tour of the property on the site plan for them. And I walked in, and he did the tour right there with the model. And when they were blown away, and they said, yes, we want this villa right there. And it was his most expensive villa.
And for the benefit of our audience, um, we need to actually congratulate Cap Maison. They're not a sponsor. It just so happened that a few days ago it was announced by Travel and Leisure magazine that they won the coveted title of the fourth best hotel in the Caribbean. So Roger,
Oh,
maybe you would have contributed to that. Maybe.
you know what I mean?
Roger,
There we go.
to members of our audience listening, and
Uh-huh.
those who now starting to believe that there is real value in having a tactile uh, model that you can see, feel, look at. Um, what would you say to persons thinking of getting into architectural model design?
What would I say to people getting into this industry? For one, I suppose it's like the arts, just getting into the arts. I think you first have to be passionate about it. I think most people who get into the arts, whether it's visual, fine arts, whatever form of it, I think there's always a passion more than anything else before the financial aspect of it. But I mean, we all go into a profession with the financial gains in mind. So now, with the advent of the computer and 3D models virtually, it has it has given the solid model making industry a real fight, because like I say now, people are more for the virtual one, because like you said before, it's cheaper for one, which I kind of still debating whether it's actually cheaper, but the fact is, they've gone that way now, and this is something that we have to accept. The world is more that way. And in the bigger countries, it's still a lucrative career in the bigger countries. In the smaller developing world, not as much these days. So you have to incorporate it with other skills. So for instance, I design as well. So if you were to come to me and some as a client and I design it for you, then I would incorporate the model into it. So I would then negotiate with you and some and tell you, okay, with your design, I will do you a model as well. We'll incorporate it in the cost. So your fees were 12,000 for the design. I'll add a extra 3,000 and I would throw a model in there for you as well. I mean, hey, you hearing 3,000, be like, whoa, but I mean, that's value for it for your money. You know what I mean? But I would do it that way, and you know as well, and Sam, I'm a photographer too, so I incorporate all these. So you see, so it's not just the model making career on its own. Now like I said, in the developing world, it'll be very challenging to get too many jobs. So you may starve.
So what you're
Yeah.
saying, anyone interested in this, they must be prepared to incorporate a number of other associated skills to offer more of a package, a value added package.
Yes. Yes. I would recommend that.
In terms of schooling and preparation for the career,
Uh huh.
yeah, persons, where would you advise them to go? Just normal building tech, architectural school? Because it's a different skill set to actually build the models than to use the software.
Yes. Yes. Totally. Yeah. It's a workshop environment. We're talking like a carpentry workshop, a joiner's workshop with band saws, just name it, drills, circular saws, all the equipment that a carpenter uses in his joinery shop. I can use all these tools. I'm certified in using these tools as well. Um, and apart from that, we're talking other tools as well too. So even the tools that the sprayer, the car sprayers or the painter does. I can spray as well. I can paint as well. So all these skills. So you learn a lot of skills. So the like you say, is totally different tools. Whereas the Word is sitting down at your computer and you have the software and that's it. This one, you're in a workshop and you're using all sorts of tools because to build a model, I may use 10 different materials because what I try to do, like I told you, I try to be as realistic as possible with the models. So I would, when you said, what do we do? How do I start it off? So, and I told you, I, I look at your drawings or your plans or whatever they may be, and I serials that are being used, and I try to replicate these same materials. So I would actually use metal, I would use wood, I would use plastics, stone, just name it. In one model I would do for you would have maybe 6, 7 different materials.
I have two bonus questions for my audience. One, what's the warranty on a model? If we bought a model, what's the warranty, Roger, on the model?
Boy, lifetime. Lifetime warranty. That's the thing with models, man. Look at the Cap Maison model. I did that model 10, yeah, Cap Maison, the 10th anniversary. I did that model 10 years ago, Ron, and the model is still there. Immaculate as ever. You swear it's the first day. Because apart from building the model, I actually built a stand as well for the models to be placed on, and we also do a glass casing that comes over the models as well. So I build that as well too, and it's
Okay.
placed.
And my
Yeah.
second question. So we have the model with the outside elevation. What if I want to see some of the internal floor plans and layouts? We're talking
Yes,
moment.
that is possible as well. I can do that as well. So we do what we call detachable models. They're called where I can detach the roof and show you the entire floor plan from a bird's eye view.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we could be very elaborate with models. I could put lighting in there for you. You know, that's how far I could go. You know, actually put lighting in there, and we could get even to the into the robotics of it, and have things opening and things moving. You know, so we actually hinge the doors, and the door would open and the windows would open. We could get that detailed and, you know, into it. So it all dependent on cost, how much your client would want to spend. We could get more elaborate and more intricate.
So Roger, somebody seeing this podcast, not just the Caribbean, because actually we have viewers of the we have viewers of the videos and listeners of the podcast all the way in Taiwan, and I think we had one or two in Russia.
Okay,
Persons listening and hearing this podcast, how can they get in touch with you if they wanted to?
okay, so they could get in touch with me via email, and my email is rogerdskeete@gmail.com. You could also get in touch with me via the telephone, which is 1758-484-1188. Well, I'm from St. Lucia. I guess as we know that that's where the podcast is coming from. If you were to ask anywhere in St. Lucia, you would get me as well.
Okay.
We're a small
All right.
island, you know? So,
We are, but we have talented people. To know that area too.
yes, yes, we do.
All right. When we do our episodes, we try to cover the full gamut of the property investing spectrum. That would cause us to go into areas that may be outside of the direct financing or building areas. And today's podcast was actually about uh, architectural model building, which is a small niche, but has value. And if done correctly, for persons doing developments with multiple units, with condo complexes, with hotel resorts, commercial centers, any such project can benefit from a model, both before in the conceptual stage, and as Roger said, after, when it comes to maintenance, doing changes, doing extensions, or just reevaluating or the current
Assessment.
concept or the current project. So there's great value. We want to encourage you to continue the conversation on our podcast. Check out our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and our website, CaribbeanPropertyInvesting.com. And remember, as we always say, everyone needs somewhere to live. You might as well own yours. So until next time, see you.
Bank of St. Lucia Visa credit card for everyday people, everyday moments.
To ruminate, to create your ultimate living space. And at Courts, you'll find what you need. Choose from our wide range of furniture, electronics, and accessories to complete your space. We're here and ready to assist. Give us a call to place your order. Shop online at shopcourts.com or visit us in store. So ruminate at Courts, bringing value home.
Congratulations and thank you for tuning in to the Caribbean's first property investing podcast. We want to help Caribbean people create wealth and achieve financial freedom through property investing. Our show provides general advice based on personal experiences and is for educational purposes only. For more information, resources, and past episodes, visit us at CaribbeanPropertyInvesting.com. Remember to click the subscribe button so you never miss a show. Let's go.